Welcome to Culture of Paint. In this episode, we're going to take a look at what's caught our eye over the last couple of weeks in the miniatures painting world. For our main topic, we're going to discuss the upcoming UK Golden Demon, and we'll close the show out, as normal, taking a look at what the hashtag PaintCultists have been up to. Now, Culture of Paint's aimed at a mature audience, and we might use explicit language and discuss adult themes. Now let's talk about paint. And we're back in. So good evening, everyone. I'm Henry, and joining me, as usual, are Matt, Andy, and Rich. Andy and Rich, even in the same room. What a treat. How are we doing, chaps?
He hasn't got internet, so he's had to come to the promised land.
Yeah.
And there's internet here. The worst internet in the whole country, but still kind of works.
Yeah, we've had a few little connection issues in the warm-up, so who knows what's going on. I mean, the temperature's cranking up in my room as it is, so there's every chance everything's just going to catch on fire.
We've got fans in here.
Yeah,
loads of fans.
So we'll get it through. Clinch asking about the height thing. Yeah, it's just
He's got the nice chair, and I've got this horrible wooden one.
I'm just on a small chair, man.
We're doing Devario, a new camera angle. Yeah, my dog knocked my camera over the other day, and I haven't bothered setting it up properly since. And I forgot we were recording until about 10 minutes beforehand, so I've hastily shoved it up in front of me. That's why I'm looking a bit weird. So we've got lots of people in the chat. Lovely to see familiar names. Plenty
great ones to read already.
Yeah,
ones as well. Yeah, I mean, I can't see tonight's episode being remotely dramatic. So let's jump into what's caught our eye over the last couple of weeks. What we got, Matt?
So first up is...
It's me.
Mm.
Firstly, hi everybody. It's nice to be back. It's been a minute. It's been pretty mental, but it's been nice to get back. And thank you for having me again. No, this is my pick. This is I don't know if anyone's heard of this. It's a historical. They're called paper panzers, which is like its entire own branch of historical. Tank building. Basically, long story short, when the Allies invaded Germany, they found these plans for these tanks that the Nazis were going to make, but they never did. So now there are companies that make kits based on just like the plans that they had, and this is what one of those is. It's a tank that was never real, but it was something that they found plans for, or they found like a turret for it or whatever. But I hadn't seen anything like this in a long time. That really caught my eye, and I love the orange and grey. It gives it almost like a futuristic style look to it, and I think it's just really well done. So yeah, that was my pick.
It's weird having you in my right ear.
Is it? but I'm right here.
What scale is it, Rich?
135.
Oh,
that's cool, isn't it?
Cool. So are there a lot of tanks and stuff like this then that are
there's
prototypes, I guess. Yeah, I get.
Yeah, even like some there's prototypes where they found like bits of it, and some they didn't even find prototypes; they just found plans for. And there's companies that have made loads and loads of them.
Is it like a what if kind of thing?
Yeah, essentially, yeah. It's like what the Nazis had planned if the war had lasted longer and gone a bit better for them at that sort of time. So even that's its whole thing. Like there's like a what if. People do take like Tigers from 1945, but they paint them as if it's 1946 or 1947, and they kind of just create this almost like sci-fi element of make-believe into using like real-world vehicles.
Very Man in a High Castle.
Yeah, exactly like
gotcha.
That. Yeah.
So it's less like Weird World War, and more like
where the bad guys won.
Yeah.
Or just lasted like 2 years longer than planned, that kind of thing.
I like the what if thing. Someone did it recently, didn't they? Or have advertised it recently. I can't remember which one it was. Someone did a heresy event recently that was a what if, and I think it was cool. It was effectively like, I believe, the Dornian heresy. If you remember that from all them years ago.
Yeah.
But it's a cool way of looking at some some alternate ways of painting things. So there's like presumably the plans and stuff for these things are just black and white drawings, right? Yeah. So there's there really is no right or wrong way of painting them, and
no one knows what color they would be. So have you ever seen
that's pretty cool.
A tank called a Mouse? It was the biggest tank ever made. They found like one chassis of it. They never found like the turret for it, but they found the plans for it. So yeah, no one knows what color they would be, what camos are. It's like historical, but gives you the license to kind of like fuck around with it and make it a bit different. and it's become its whole like offshoot of historical miniatures painting now, because there's like the purists that are like, well, no, that never happened. It needs to be this and this color, that kind of, because we know that's in that world a bit. But no, this is its own complete like different offshoot of it, where people can really go into it. So like a painter called Adam P. Wilder, who's my favorite historical painter.
Adam, as in Adam Wilder, yeah.
Yeah. He does almost predominantly that sort of stuff now, and it's cool. Just amazing.
Yeah, amazing artist. Go and check him out. If you've ever bought like a weathering or scale modeling magazine, you've almost certainly seen one of his tutorials in there. But he's certainly one of the modern. I don't want to say modern masters, but yeah, he's certainly one of the most influential historical painters. He
commented on a tank
military sort of World War II, World War I, World War II, isn't it? He's not like Napoleonics or anything like that. It's tank.
It's all vehicles. Yeah.
I'm trying to think. There's a particular technique, isn't there, that him and Miggs basically Mig Jimenez developed together, wasn't there? It's not the hairspray. It's something like that, though, isn't it? That they was it modulation? Did they?
Yeah. They did. Yeah, they started. They were the two main people that really started modulating the historical tanks. Everyone else used to do was just flat color, whereas they did a lot of modulation on it.
Quite a lot on this one, isn't it?
Flat color. But it was really, really controversial when they first did it. But it makes it look amazing.
That's awesome. Oh, great choice, mate. There you go. See, we've missed this kind of erudite content.
Back in the game.
Right. Right, what we got up next?
I was just going to say, people are lowering your shirt reach.
What about mine?
No comments yet.
Wearing a sack.
So, next up is, and I thought it'd be rude not to include it, because we did include a bit last time.
Oh, nice one.
But it's finished.
It was going to be my pick anyway.
I think it was only finished. Was it last night or so, or today even, wasn't it? Yeah, very recently. Yeah, we did indeed talk about it last time, didn't we?
So cool to see it finished. I love it all.
Yeah,
even the flame on the base is mega, and it's got a flamer.
Yeah,
very cool.
That's a proper old school flamer.
Hey, here's a question: is this the best painted Legion of the Damned?
Yeah.
I've never seen a better one. It's the best one.
I don't know. That could be a fun one to go search for, though. Because they are one of those chapters that attracts hobbyists, right? It would be very interesting to see.
There's some classics, but this has got to be like, it's got to be the best one.
Yeah.
Like, it's so well done. It's like it's the example now, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think with the bigger scale of the mini, and like the new armor, but it definitely shows it off a lot better than previous stuff.
I would love to see it slightly more in context, so either as a squad or alongside some other contemporary 40k miniatures, in a scene or something like that, right?
He did say about that it was something that he was thinking about for a squad, didn't he? Because he said he enjoyed it so much it would look good as a squad. Imagine that as a fucking squad.
But old school Legion of Damned, you just had a unit, right?
Yeah.
Because when I was a kid, I was so pumped that I bought my metal set.
Yeah.
I was like, I can just add this as like one unit.
And I believe
you could go with this
it might have been a White Dwarf or something. I'm pretty sure they did an army list for it, but it was a Marine army, right? So it wasn't exactly reinventing the wheel.
Wasn't it? Were they an elite's choice?
Yeah.
I don't remember.
You used to be able to. You could take like 3 units in like the traditional squad, like or whatever
It's
edition.
Too many. Just have one. They're supposed to be so rare. You just have one unit.
Yeah, you could. If you ran a Space Marine list back in the day, you could take a Legion of the Damned squad as an elite's choice.
Yeah. But that's interesting. Talking about lore, I shall talk about all fucking day. But I know you're saying they're rare, but I think they're rare as in they didn't appear all that often. But there was never particular talk about them being low in number necessarily.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was just these creepy ass Marines would turn up in the hour of need kind of thing.
I think I just remember that second ed approach of like you just have one box of 10.
One box. Yeah, absolutely. And Sergeant Centurious, you got to have that dude in there.
they were rare on the tabletop just because how bloody expensive they were.
Yeah. They were because they were a sculpted upgrade, weren't they, on the traditional metal tactical sculpt, right?
Weren't they? No, they were all metal torsos, right?
I'm because this is a long time. I'm trying to remember. I'm certain they brought them back out, and you could have a heavy bolter or a missile launcher. So I'm sure they made more than just.
You used to be able to get shoulder pads.
You did. Let me have a Google while we're chatting and see if I'll find it.
Anyway.
This is fun one. But they are, and you're right. Yeah. Like it's brilliant to see someone like Darren who has had a hand in shaping, Citadel miniatures now for what 15 years, 20 years, as a painter and a sculptor. So yeah, really cool to see him taking on such an iconic.
Sculpture some new ones.
Part of the lore. Yeah, give us some new ones.
They were a metal set, mate.
Cool.
Found it.
Nice.
And they're the heavy bolter with a skeleton on the top.
And yeah, that's it. Yeah, Jonathan's just said in the chat, isn't Ferrus Manners head of the Legion of the Damned? I had heard that little rumor. I'm gonna go. Right, I'm definitely gonna go and have a little lore deep dive after this show this evening.
Right, bring it for next time.
Yeah. I will.
I'll
come back.
Episode,
I'll come back and let you
know. Legion of the Damned.
Nice one. Yeah, great choice, Matt. What's up next?
Duckbill platypuses.
Sorry, I was just taking a drink. Great time. So this I saw, I think maybe a day or two after we recorded the last show, and I was like, screenshot. Don't forget this. Don't forget to send this to Matt. One of my favourite, accounts out there, and it's critters anthropomorphized, and it's pirates. I mean,
that's a big fucking budget.
It's pretty hard to beat for just lovely stuff. The budgie's just so good, man. Like it's
the budgie for me.
Look at the energy of that budgie, right? You don't fuck with that burb. It's I love it. I just love it, and it's kind of fun to see Joshua doing the bigger, the bigger bits as well.
Mean version of Tweety Bird.
I got right. Exactly. He does mention where the miniatures are from. I'm sorry, I've forgotten to jot that down. It's just great. Again, it's not something I'll ever paint. It's not something I've probably. I can't really think of anything other than Black Sailors that reminds me of the larger scale sort of fantastical pirate stuff. And certainly not
Cobra mode.
There we go. So yeah, I just thought this is the kind of stuff I want to be able to see and never paint, if that makes sense. I'm just glad someone else is doing it.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
What's it called when you just look at stuff?
Observe.
A voyeur.
Yeah, that's it.
So this is what I look at from the hedge, just peering out.
Oh yeah, budgie.
Stubbing my legs. Yeah.
Critter voyeur. That should be your new name on Instagram.
That should be.
Exactly. But yeah, love it. Love this account. As usual, all the accounts will be down in the description, so you can go and check everybody out that we feature. But that budgie, man, it's just so good, so good. And the colours, just love it. What's up next?
So up next, and it requires a bit of context.
Oh,
so this is my pick. So no, I couldn't afford to buy this. So this is a unpublished, unreleased piece that started as a kind of personal project, might have become official and was supposed to maybe be a part of a larger art piece, but is basically what Stefan imagined Fugen to look like back in the 90s, but it never got published. So we would the guy that bought it, I've been trying to help him kind of like source if it was ever published, but we just can't find it anywhere. So yeah, I thought it was wicked.
Well, if anyone knows,
skull on his belt, that's mad.
Yeah, that's really pure, like do you know the graphic novel Slain?
Yeah.
That's what it looks like.
Yeah.
I want them to make this model bad.
Love it when they do Eldar in the one color.
Yeah.
It's just it suits that. It's just delicious.
Also, fire dragons in red, not orange, is cool.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
it is
yeah.
cool.
When he sent it across to me to like help him source it, I was just like, that is amazing. Nobody's seen this before. This is like, yeah,
I want
so
paint
cool.
Eldar soon.
But,
Not
yeah.
an army.
Just one.
Just the one. Yeah, just the one.
Just the one.
Just
Yeah.
the-
I want them to make this model bad though. I really want the next like Phoenix Lord and whatever Aspect Warrior box to be fire dragons in this boy. I think, yeah, I want them next.
Someone's saying in the chat it's got like big Dracula vibes to all that armor and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, that whole like red lacquered armor. Yeah, absolutely.
it's just a shame that, you know, it's taken, because we think it's around early 90s, sort of early mid 90s. So
well, that's when the sculpt's from, isn't it? So,
yeah, but so it's never been seen really since then, which is a bit of a shame. It's kind of like there's a lot of art really that isn't actually ever published. With the amount of like effort and money that goes into it, you think that they'd just use it, but no, never got used.
Keep bringing it to us, mate.
Matt's
keep finding it.
He's like a hobby connoisseur. I'm sat here being like Space Marines, and he's there with all these like amazing bits of artwork.
But that's okay, mate. You need both.
It's true.
You know,
It's that meme with the old man, isn't it? With the
ciggy,
the cigar like that. That's Matt. We'll make it.
Yeah,
it's very cool. Yeah, you keep bringing us these, mate. Because
will do. I'm sure there'll be more.
If there's a sculptor who wants to make it for me, I will look at it. Maybe paint it.
Maybe paint it. So that
one more.
Oh, cheeky fucker! 3 weeks in a row.
Hey, this is my pick.
Oh, I was going to say it's Andy's. I thought Matt was.
Double dip. Or have you double dipped, Matt? Have you double dipped?
Well, the Darren was kind of both of us.
That's okay. That's all right.
It just had to be shown.
This is incredible.
Yeah. So this is Sergio Vilches, not to be confused with Sergio Calvo, and they've got a very similar style, which is awesome. So it's the epic Spanish style that we all love. And there was no kind of hint to this miniature. It's a new one from Big Child Creatives, who we are really big fans of. And I think it's a really special sculpt with a special paint job. I think it's Alejandro Munoz who's maybe sculpting stuff for us at the moment. But he's wicked. This paint job just blew me away, to be honest. Sergio has just really got on my radar recently. I love all his recent stuff.
Colours are insane.
Yeah, and the backdrop really adds to it, doesn't it? Although I think without the backdrop, it would still be great, to be honest.
I think it would be better.
It really frames it though, like that separation in the feathers. But
I think that's all it does, right? Which is cool too, right? It doesn't have to, although it is a scene, isn't it? Because that looks like birds in the background, right? Am I just seeing things?
No, I can't see any birds. I'm just looking at those glass balls. They're pretty cool.
I think it's just little variations. Oh, it's Henry dropped.
Are you kidding me?
No, you're back.
Hang on.
Okay, so maybe I was just lost staring at it. Them glass balls are
just having a moment.
Pretty special as well.
Good.
Yeah. Death Court's just saying in the chat, I thought this was a drawn piece when I saw it in the thumbnail. Yeah, very, very cool. As in a 2D piece of artwork. Very, very cool.
Nearly bought this mini, but I was like, the perfect paint job's already done, so I'm all right.
That's what I'm talking about, right? It's so nice when you see a mini painted perfectly, right? Because then there's just, I'm like, oh, great. If I ever want to look at a cool mini, okay, there we go. I'll just click on it, look at that version.
Means you never have to do it, huh?
Exactly. I love it. Well, great picks this week, gents. They really are.
It's good times.
Yeah,
it's best balls different. I've ever seen, says Dan. Not bad indeed. Now I suspect we'll have a slide for meme of the week, won't we? Because to say it's been a target-rich environment the last couple of days is probably an understatement. So I think we went with one that was at least on
I've picked two.
Oh God.
So
Two memes.
what?
Double dipped on the
Yeah.
memes.
Well, I couldn't not. So the first one is funny. The second one's on topic.
Okay.
Oh, fuck.
I thought this was hilarious.
Oh, that was good.
Oh, you enjoyed it? Okay. It's an interesting take. Yeah. Okay. To pick this one of all the ones that may have been released.
It's not the best, Matt. This isn't the best.
Okay.
I thought it was brilliant.
Yeah, true.
Mark's safe from the
But-
Space Wolf helmet.
But I
was the
like
best.
this. This is a thinking person's Space Wars meme. This, you know,
Too technical for me.
it's it's yeah. As I said, target rich environment these last few days.
Yeah,
So-
Mark's safe from the Space Wolf helmet kit. Let's go.
Big shout out to all the Warhammer meme people. I particularly like the low effort memes. I think they're my favourite. Just
So basically, you're saying
Heads for
people should send you low effort memes constantly.
correct. Tag me in them and I won't reply to you, and you can get all salty about that. So let's see what the next the next on topic
This
meme.
is this like I tried to keep it safe. So
Segue.
Oh,
did
look,
the
you really did
homemade
keep
one.
it safe. Oh,
Yeah. Where was your homemade one, Charlie Bucket?
that's in the
oh,
thumbnail.
he did make it to the thumbnail. To be fair, didn't he?
True.
Yes, of course. This is the hoo-ha that has been generated around Golden Demon UK tickets and the sales of and people who have and have not managed to get hold of them. So that may as well take us straight into the main topic, which is Golden Demon UK, which we're all very excited is going ahead. There was a lot of doubt as to whether it was happening this year or not, with Warhammer Fest not happening. I didn't know what was going on. We sort of had an inkling very much that something was coming, and it's nice to see it happen. But before we dive into what we want to talk about with it, which is namely the people that we think are worth looking out for, up and comers, legends, miniatures, all that type of thing, it would be probably remiss not to at least discuss the ticket, well, the whole situation, right? Really, because it's there's been a lot of drama the last week, right? There's been a lot of stress, and you know, at least it's got people talking about painting rather than I don't know, whatever unit's broken or whatever the usual shit is on Twitter or whatever. So yeah, as two people that have sorted our tickets out, or Matt, what was the deal? What happened?
So stressful. It was so stressful. My watch was like, "Have you started a workout?" Like, just trying to buy it. It was ridiculous.
You're
So-
doing great.
So this is because tickets were for sale on Eventbrite, correct?
Yes, they went
I'm
practically
way.
instantly.
Mm.
Is
They do go instantly.
the problem with Eventbrite is that the way they do it is really weird, and I wish kind of they wouldn't use Eventbrite, because like the pop-up situation of how the payment thing happens, I don't really understand why it needs to be a pop-up. I think a lot of people got caught out on that, and by the time they actually figured out the situation, they were gone. But yeah, wasn't great.
So
I-
fill us in there. What's the deal? Where's it happening? What's going on? Why have we found ourselves in this situation?
Shall I take it or you, Matthew?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you go, and I'll continue on when I've collected my thoughts.
So, yeah, well, a little bit. So, yeah, we obviously haven't had Golden Demon for 3 years, and there's a lot of energy built up, and we all wanted to have a UK one. And I believe the general rumour mill is saying that no big venue is booked because no Warhammer Fest. And to be positive, I imagine Games Workshop were like, well, it'd be sad to not have a Golden Demon at all. So instead of having nothing, we'll have to just have it in Warhammer World, which has the limitations. So I don't know what the capacity is, but it's under 1,000, right?
I think it's around
700-ish.
650 max.
We just don't know, but we don't know if the tickets are 500 tickets, 700 tickets, but it's just not a lot. And with that 3-year build-up, I imagine Golden Demon was, I don't know, more demand than before. I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt because me and Rich went to every Golden Demon at Warhammer World. And when we went to Golden Demon tanks, I mean, there was definitely tickets going on the day. You could have just walked around, no problem. So maybe they looked at, hey, in the past, when it's not been Warhammer Fest, when we've just had Golden Demon. The busiest one was Golden Demon Space Marines, and that was a really good contest. It was really full. It was a proper contest, but it didn't sell out this way. No. So maybe they weren't expecting the demand, because I will admit everyone said it's going to sell out in seconds, and I said I don't know, and I was completely wrong. But I didn't anticipate, or I thought I love Golden Demon. And maybe in my head, I think it's this massive thing, but actually it's just a few of us, so it won't sell out. That's what I thought. But...
Well, let me jump in with that one then. So, the numbers thing, there's two sides to it. It's all right because you've got people who want to enter, as you say. There's been 3 years build up. I mean, let's not even talk yet about the fact that this is the 35th anniversary. This is significant, and I'm going to try and be the balanced voice in this discussion, but there's also the fact that there's fans who want to go and see it too, right? The last 3 years, miniatures painting's gone astronomical, right? And you've got fans. We've all seen amazing art. We've had to, right, online. That's how a lot of us have had to enjoy our hobby the last few years. So we've been exposed to more things. Podcasts like ourselves, we've popped up talking about miniatures painting and competitive miniatures painting. It is a healthier, more visible hobby than ever, competitive miniatures painting, right? So you've got people that have no desire to enter, but who want to go and see these miniatures in the flesh, right? In the plastic, you know what I mean. So you're adding that onto it as well. So perhaps you're right, Andy. Perhaps the demand for actual entrance is about what you expected, but you then have to tack on top of that people that are going along to go and see it, and I believe they've made it into some sort of 4-day long hobby type thing, right?
There's a hobby event. Yeah, it shouldn't have been at the same time because you're going to have a lot of people that are just wanting to go to that, and it's going to take away a ticket from GD basically. Yeah, I mean it's a really difficult one. So there wasn't going to be a Warhammer Fest this year. That was just not going to be on the cards. They likely would have had to have decided to run or not run Warhammer Fest right at the last lockdown. Yeah. The country was in a mess. The government was
advanced over a year, right?
Yeah. The government were changing their minds every 30 seconds, with restrictions. So they either had to decide, do we take the punt and organise it and possibly have to cancel it again, or just leave it? And by the time I think they probably decided, we should probably run it, obviously the Commonwealth Games are on, so the Rico Arena's out. The NEC was fully booked. There's no real middle large size venues in the UK that could probably have taken it.
Okay, so I'll challenge that one with, they have an incredible venue. Warhammer World is awesome.
Too
right?
small, though.
Right, capacity, right? It's too small.
Yeah.
So are that, and that's the only issue with it, correct?
Yeah.
Is the
capacity.
So we go back to what you were saying, Andy. Is rather than looking at it from a negative point, but going, should we just put it on? Are they looking at it and going, well, Warhammer Fest isn't happening, but we should do Golden Demon? Because I don't really hear people complaining that there isn't a Warhammer Fest this year. Do you know what I mean?
Well, yeah, I mean, what I was trying to say was, me and Rich went to every single Golden Demon that was at Warhammer World, right? And it was never full, ever. It was nothing like this. Mm-hmm. So you can only look at previous data, and you've got your ticket sales for Warhammer Fest, right? But that's people going for all Warhammer stuff. But their data for Golden Demon only was probably those previous ones: Golden Demon tanks, Golden Demon Space Marines, and the
Age of Sigmar.
Yeah, some other ones they did. The Enemies of the Imperium.
Oh yeah.
They were all that was the last one you did, I think, and they were all fine. So they looked at that and gone, okay, we'll have some more sales. but I don't know.
When we did those ones though, like we would go, oh, should we go to this one? Oh yeah, okay, cool.
We didn't buy tickets until today.
It's like are the tickets released? Oh, of course, it's a week and a half later. Should we get tickets? Oh, go on then. We'll try and get some entries finished for it. And it was like there was never any possibility of not getting tickets. And then the other day, when the comparison to when the tickets released the other day, I went on, it was in my basket, and in the time it took me to go from my basket to checkout, it was gone. So it was literally the people that had the fastest internet connection at the time were getting the tickets.
I mean, I'd have to argue, I think it's quite short-sighted to try and compare the two things. You're comparing what were mini demons 4, 5, 6 years ago, 7 years ago, you know, when the company was successful, but when it was still very much in flux, to nowadays where, as you said, we've had 3 years of no painting competition. Games Workshop is this multi-billion-dollar colossus. You know, I think it is. I'm not sure I can buy that sort of.
I don't think it either. I'm just saying maybe that's the only thing they were doing. They have that data, and maybe they thought they could do it, and it would be all right. A couple disappointed people. My feelings on the whole event is, and me and Rich chatted about it because Rich wants to enter again. And when we found out it was at Warhammer World, Rich was like, "I'm not going to do this one because I want to enter the big one." Because there was all these rumours that it was going to be back in Birmingham, like 2013 and before, in a huge venue. And you know, me and Rich both agree we want to do that Golden Demon, and I hope that happens in May, which isn't too long after this one. But what I feel about this one is get another venue. They can afford it, even run it at a loss because so many people are annoyed. Just go and find any venue you can that's bigger and splash out. That's kind of how I feel about it. Because people are just going to be disappointed.
I mean, like there is like there are I'm just like with Heimdall was just saying like how can I say like it can only be like the NEC Eureka. That's not what I'm saying.
No.
There are plenty of other like venues it could have been, but you know,
but that's what they go for.
That's what they've decided is to go for Warhammer World for whatever reason. We don't know the internal discussions. Like we don't know like what was going on. Like we never will. So like it's hard to speculate what the thought process was because we'll never know. But you know, you can look at it from like if you want to like, yes, we love Golden Demon, we're hobbyists, but you have to look at it from a purely business perspective, regardless of what your emotional like input is to it.
Impossible. We're talking about Warhammer here, Matt.
Yeah,
there's no room for that.
Be logical.
Accountants are going to get involved. It has to turn a profit. Like, it's the end of the day, they're in a business to make money.
All right, so let's look at it like this. So there is undoubtedly a culture now, I believe, of this sort of faux outrage with social media. You see it with these YouTube thumbnails. You see it with clickbait. Negative things will always get clicks. Blah 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 blah. Everything is either incredible or it's dog shit. There's no middle ground. So what I want to try and do is see the try and look through that. And there's we as fans of miniature paintings, we want, and I think we rightly expect, better of a company the size of Games Workshop with the standing of Games Workshop. And perhaps this is how the tournament gamers feel and like competitive gamers feel when they talk about, well, we should have updates more, but this is our thing, right? This is painting. This is what we really love about it, and this is really our only experience of that being let down. A lot of people, I think, do feel let down by it, but I would be intrigued to find out the amount of people that were going to go and have not been able to go, as opposed to the amount of people screaming about it online, just enjoying the drama, like stirring the pot. So we make it our business to understand or try and keep a view of what's going on with the painting community. Are we aware of any? And I'm only going to talk about significant names because as much as I want everybody to enter competitions and enjoy it and improve and experience it all, Golden Demon is a gold, silver, bronze competition, right? However you describe it, right? There's three awards per category, this, that, and the other. You are only have a finite amount of winners. Bob, who's just started painting, I would love him to be able to go to Demon and experience it, but he's not going there to place. What are there particular names that you're aware of that have missed out on tickets?
Yeah, I'm trying to think. There's just so many, to be honest.
In the first batch, there were a lot. Like I've spent yesterday evening and most of the day, like people have like messaged me saying, I have a spare ticket, do you know anyone? So like I know certain people have had not been able to get one, so I've been able to put them into contact with people that don't have one. So I think a few people probably still don't have them, but I think Ben Comets I don't think has one.
Yeah, there you go.
So the reason I asked that is there is, and again, I really don't want this to come across too negative. I'm just trying to give all the different points of it. There are always people that like to find the fault and knock others down, right? That's what they get off on. That's their thing. So in the past, you'll even hear us use terms like mini demon and stuff. And I certainly experienced when I won my Golden Demon back whenever it was years ago, I had a massive sort of imposter syndrome thing. I felt very weird. I talked to Rich and Andy a lot about it because they were the two other guys that won the demons. That's sort of how we really became sort of mates and stuff. But then you looked at the quality of the artists that were at the event and you broke it down and went, no, do you know what? That was a good piece. It did well. It's not the same as when there are 4 entries into a category and 3 of them are winning. Now, 3 of them might be incredible entries. So that's a different conversation, right? But are you going to find that we have people quite loudly knocking this competition and the people that are going to place in this competition that, they wouldn't have placed if so-and-so had been able to make it?
Yeah, of course they will.
I think that's the worrying thing is, and I feel that I don't care, but what if someone and I know people entering for the first time who've worked their ass off, and I feel bad for them if they get one and people are, derogatory to them and say, well, it doesn't count. But yeah, so it's going to be a shame. And I think in the next segment, we're going to talk about what the standard will be like, limited or not. But yeah, I just think, and you said it before, Henry, and I think it's really important that you got to disregard what something's got and just look at it. Is this a good miniature? Because there are miniatures that haven't won an award that are incredible, and there's ones that have that maybe aren't, but just it's irrelevant. Look at the miniature and go, is that really cool? Yes, and there might be an accolade with it, but yeah, it's a shame this is happening because we all love Golden Demon here. We do it a lot on this podcast, and I think the thing is this is got to be a one-time thing. So there's all this hate and stuff like that. It's once. If you feel really against it and you're not happy with it, don't go to this one. And there's going to be another one in not that long.
I think the hobbyists are, like you said, Henry, they're very quick to jump on the let's bash Games Workshop for a bit because they fucked something up. And again, not trying to be negative, but there is inevitably people who get annoyed at GW if you're doing this, that, or the other. So any opportunity to give them a little bit of a shit kicking, people will take. Yeah. And I'm not disregarding that this wasn't done very well and it's not ideal, but I do think there are a proportionate amount of people that will do it just so that they can have a little go.
So absolutely, and as I said, we're trying to present a balanced discussion on it. I'm really glad Clayton's brought up in the chat. Every Golden Demon is limited. It's just limited by different factors.
Yeah,
you had Golden Demon US. Well, a lot of people weren't able to enter that because it cost £1 billion to fly to at the moment, and all the rest of it. It's COVID, whatever there is, there are always limitations. When we went to some of the smaller Golden Demons, such as say the Heresy Golden Demon, that was limited. That was far more limited than this Golden Demon is. Right? There were 200-300 tickets, something like that, if that. And probably 70-80% of the people getting tickets had no interest in entering the thing. I mean, what it did end up creating was some ludicrously high standard categories because you had people that were absolutely dedicated and committed to getting a ticket and entering that Golden Demon. and they got there, and they did it. So it is difficult. And I mean, Christian's saying, this all has nothing to do with the fact that the logistics is simply poor. You paint for months, if not a year, and then you can't get a ticket. How do you explain that to the people? I would very much like Games Workshop to come out and explain their decision. I think we all would. I don't think it's going to happen, but at least we can have a discussion about it here. And I think we need to. And if you have to try and spin a positive about it, right? It's good that we're having these discussions, right? It's good that Golden Demon still matters to people, because, as I've become more aware and involved in painting competitions, you do realise it's an interesting comp, right? It's the prestige of it is very different outside of a Games Workshop world, right? So it's I think it's good that there's this passion going around it, but that's why I would dearly love to really know how many of the people that wanted to enter didn't get to enter, and how much of it is a bit of drama,
actually not just saying it as well.
Exactly.
I was going to enter, but were you?
Exactly?
I mean,
but there's no way of knowing, right?
The proof will be that if we turn up on the day and the cabinets are not very full.
Yeah, exactly. But that's the thing again, though. But I'm going, and I'm not entering. But I'm going as a fan because I want to see brilliantly painted miniatures, right? But that's a ticket that someone could, could someone that wanted to enter could have.
I think we can all agree that the fact that, if there is one person, Golden Demon should never be limited. No painting competition should ever be limited. If there's one person that hasn't been able to enter purely because they couldn't get a ticket, then there's something wrong. Like it's bad. I
think it's never going to happen. I just can't see it happening. But I would love them to be like, while people are annoyed, and just spend the money and get a venue, right? Because it's like, say it's 700 cap if they got 1,500 cap, and they just
we'd very quickly find out then, wouldn't we, about how many people that didn't.
And then 700 people come.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that this is the last, and I'm not calling it a mini demon because that's not what it is, and that, like you said, Henry, that is like a whole thing.
Not full Warhammer Fest.
I only want, and this is just a personal take on it for me, doing all the smaller demons one after the other just tarnished for me what Golden Demon was.
Yeah.
It wasn't as prestigious, it wasn't as difficult. And at that time, I'm not saying about now because I haven't entered for a long time, but back then it didn't, and it lost that specialness for me. So only thing I want it to be now is Games Day, where there is like fucking 2,500 people there, and anyone can enter if they want to. Then that for me, that'll be proper Golden Demon again. That's why I'm going to this one, but I'm not going to enter because I only want to enter in the big one, the Games Day one.
I mean, the Chicago one was the best atmosphere I've seen at a ceremony, because the ceremony is awesome, because that you're just going to get a buzz if you win. And they had to expand the room. They made a room for the ceremony, and they had to, they had those partitions, and they had to take it away to get everybody in. It was amazing. Sick. And that was what it should be like. And I just don't think you can get that at Warhammer World, unfortunately. So I think no matter all the people, how annoyed and worked up people are, there is no way they'll do this again, because they're going to see how annoyed people are. It should be the last one. Yes, it's got to be the last one there.
But look at it this way: at least it's something. At least because they didn't book in Games Day because of COVID, and they made that decision. We think they made that decision a very long time ago. At least they're doing something. And it may not be perfect, and it may not have actually gone that well in regards to who got tickets, but it's something. And it like at least it's something that we can go to and at least embrace the hobby of it.
I think purely selfishly, if I had the choice, I would have no demon at all. And I don't say that in a negative way at all. When they did the Chicago one, personally, I was putting all my mental energy into that one, because I was like, okay, this is the only demon of 2022, Adepticon. I'm going to put all my energy into this, and then I need to chill. And I was really sad when they announced, "Hey, Golden Demon October in UK," and I went, "Ugh." I just felt, because I was like, I cannot enter that one, because the lesson I learned from Chicago was I didn't spend enough time on my entries. I only spent 4 months on my entry, and I was like, I need to spend 7 or 8 at least. And then they said, here's another one in 6 months, and I was like, well, I can't. I have to start tomorrow. I'm not going to do that. So purely selfishly, I was like, I wish there wasn't one, and then we waited and got back on the normal circuit, because the normal circuit was May. And I just wanted to wait till May 2023. There's such a long time to wait, but then it would be the proper full fat Golden Demon Warhammer Fest, hopefully back in Birmingham. It would have been incredible. So that's what I wish they did. But yeah, I'm saying that not in a negative way, like, they shouldn't have done it at all. I understand that they wanted to try and be cool and do something, but I just wish they had announced it's May. It's going to be a proper Warhammer Fest. It's going to be the biggest one ever.
Because that's what I want to get back to, is those like Golden Demons where it used to take you all day just to go around and see everything. There's that many entries, that there's that many people that are.
I would have loved. Now I agree. I really don't think it potentially should have been a Golden Demon. What I would have loved to have seen, and I think I did actually email them this a long time ago, like 2022, because the 35th year was coming up, and I would have loved to have them just to make an event celebrating the 35th year without the competition. Just have an event celebrating the 35th year. Bring John Blanche in, because he judged the first one. Bring painters down, and they can bring past entries down, and people could have looked at them. Like that
that'd be cool.
would have been, I think, a better solution than running a limited competition.
Imagine an event where just every single person that had ever won a Golden Demon was invited to bring it back and put it in the cabinet for the day.
Exactly. I would have loved to have seen that.
So would we, and we will always do our very best to use the channels we've got to recommend things that we think would be cool. So we keep feeding back. That's all we can do, right? You've got to let if gamers can be a little shy, I imagine painters can be even worse. So it's important to voice these desires and frustrations, and feed it back to them, and then the ball's in their court, right?
In a calm way, though, right?
Precisely, because, and you know what, even more so in the current climate, I think a calm response is quite loud when you compare it to everything else. But the situation is what it is. We have Golden Demon UK in October. Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of tickets sold. We've had 3 years of no Golden Demons. Now, whether that means people have got, entries saved up or not, I don't think it's as obvious as that. I was chatting to our friend Rich Gray the other day, and he's like, I don't believe that's how a lot of painters work. You get given a deadline and you go to it, or things like that. I think probably 6 of one, half a dozen of the other, right, with all of that. But that's the situation we're in. It's coming up. There is going to be amazingly painted miniatures there. A lot of the popular names of yesteryear and currently are going, as well as all these people that have honed their skills over the last few years and are now excited to go and display their work at Golden Demon again. So what we wanted to do now was have a little bit of a chat. Matt and Andy have picked some of their sort of ones to watch. And I think it's time to look at some cool models, right?
Not this one, you're not going.
Let's go for the positives.
Hey,
wow,
it is what it is, right? But let's do it. Unless you guys had anything more you wanted to add to that.
Just to segue into this, when we look at this stuff that might be going, you're going to see this is going to be a high standard competition, and we're going to see some amazing minis, and whatever wins the Slayer sword is going to be a strong entry. and I'm fired up to see the Slayer sword because I think there's a handful of mental painters going at it. I think it's going to be one of the strongest fights for the sword. So let's look at some stuff that could go for it.
So
I just want to address one thing. Ben Comets, he's a good mate of ours. He's a phenomenal painter. And a couple of people have said in the chat, oh yeah, but then you hear Ben Comets doesn't have a ticket. What's that going to mean? Well, Ben had a ticket to Chicago, didn't he? And there were a lot of other incredible painted miniatures there. There are a ton of fantastic painters out there, and that doesn't devalue any of Ben's work. But also, don't let it make you think that there's only 10 decent painters in the world. There are, just because they might not have big social media and all the rest of it. In fact, they're the best ones, right? The ones that don't
look at Gavin.
Social media.
Look at Gavin. Gavin won the sword and nobody heard of him. It was his first ever entry. He'd never entered anything, right?
Exactly. But I absolutely would love to see. I love seeing Ben's work whenever I can. So yeah, absolutely. Right, let's have a look.
So first up is, and this is the funny one. Which one do we pick?
Is he actually going to finish something for this though?
Yeah, I'm going to message him every day going, how's your GD progress? But yeah, Rich Gray, we all love him. We're all disappointed he didn't enter Chicago. I certainly was sad that he didn't come along for the trip. And I think Rich needs a deadline because the man has got some of the best whips you've ever seen. Like that Elder torso is just, for me, that's absolutely perfect. It's everything I like in a miniature. I want to see it finished and entered in a competition. So we know Rich has got a ticket, not for any schmoozing or help. He was on there clicking like the rest of us, and he did manage to get one. And he's one of the heavy hitters everyone wants to see, right? I think what's exciting about Rich is, yeah, he's got all these whips. And which one's he going to bring or which few? It could be mental. He could have secretly finished 10 entries. He could have one insane entry going, for the sword. We just don't know with Rich. So, yeah, all this talk about it's going to be weak or something like that. It's not. We've got people like this coming.
Isn't this just like the last week of his whips anyway?
Yeah.
I think the one he said he was focusing on in his Instagram comments was his squig.
Yes,
that's his main.
Insane.
Yeah.
Having painted this myself, and this is so much better than mine. I can't tell you, because when you look at like pictures, you can't tell how big or small something is, and his photos make it look like it's quite a large miniature, but knowing how small it is in hand, I bet this looks mental in hand. And I think that's the thing about Rich, is he's got this online presence, right? But when you see his miniatures in hand, it's so different. He takes flattering photos, but they're very honest, and you can see like the work, but in hand it is so flat and so smooth. So this piece, I know I'm going to be blown away when I see it in real life. And he's really pushing it on the refinement. So
the colours are fucking insane.
I can't wait to see this in hand. I bet it's going to look silly good. And, I think Rich knows, there's a lot of other people going that are great painters, and he's using that as motivation to push himself. And I think that's super positive. So I'm pumped to see this. It's going to be crazy. Any thoughts?
It's mental. I just the eyes on it and the tongue are just, it's so good. I'm like I said, I'm really looking forward to seeing it in the hand. Like, you just can't compare the photos sometimes, but yeah, I think he's really pushing for it, isn't he? He's knuckling down and trying to get it sorted.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I'll be very disappointed if he doesn't. So do it.
He's gonna. I think he's gonna go for it, right?
Yeah, come on, you ball bag, get something finished. Yeah,
I think it's exciting. I can't wait to see. I can't wait to see Rich enter again, finish a miniature. That'd be cool. And this is gonna be a special one, I think. So can't wait.
And this would go into fantasy single?
Yeah, mounted stuff like a dude on a horse goes in single
so
now. And this
for me, it's probably my second favorite category after diorama. I think is fantasy single.
I think putting it at the start of these things, in a nutshell, Age of Sigmar single figure is going to have the Slayer sword in it. I'm pretty sure.
So that's a statement.
There we go.
And I think it's going to be one of the best AOS single categories ever, and it's going to be the category to go for. Yeah.
We'll have to.
I know.
Have to walk around again.
Entries. Yeah.
Well, in that case, let's see who's next.
So next up is, and I think
we will be opening a book on all of this as well. I just need to figure out how to get it done on the website, which has got to jump through a few hoops. So what's up next, Matt?
Yeah, I think everyone's wanting to see this one.
Yeah, if you're talking about Golden Demon, we're talking about, the greatest Golden Demon entrance of the last 35 years. I don't think you beat Soper for significance. I
mean, if I was a betting man, if he's entering, it's probably worth a $5 that he's going to win something, isn't it?
That eye is so gross.
Yeah, probably the best part on it, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just, yeah. I mean, having been fortunate enough to go on a class of David's a few years ago and listen to him talk about his pieces, and Andy talks about, I didn't dedicate enough time to it, and some people it is time, but it is different for everyone. I do get that some people can produce incredible things under a shorter time frame because they work better like that, right? But David is renowned as being one of these people that spends up to years on a project, correct?
I mean, this one's been...
This is 3 years in. 3 years in on this.
Yeah.
2019 he started it.
Yeah, because he was aiming to have it for 2020, I believe, because that would have been his 30th anniversary of his first sword,
which was the
Nurgle tank. Yeah.
Yeah,
it's going to be quite interesting, this one, for him, because it would be 30-ish years since his first sword and 10 odd years since his return to GD.
Which was also swords, I believe.
Yeah, he won a sword.
Normally,
I think he's probably he's got like the best swords, because there's people that are tying for 5 swords. I think Soper got 5 or 4.
He is 5. I think he is the only one with. There's an American with 5, but he hasn't entered in a long time.
I'm seeing a lot of names, by the way. People are posting in the chat like, "Why aren't you talking about this person?" we've only gone through 2. All right, get to the end and then you can moan. It's going to be some good people.
Soper and Todd Swanson are tied for 5, but Soper has more golds.
Nice. You've gone to count back. Bloody hell.
The knowledge.
He's just got the best collection of sword winners and stuff, right? It's just unbelievable.
And you talk about Rich's stuff being a real step up in the hand, right? And it is much cooler, don't get me wrong, but Rich also takes brilliant photos, doesn't he? They're often quite atmospheric. David's photos tend to be quite matter of fact. So I think when you see his in the hand, that for me was a genuine emotional response to a miniature, seeing some of his stuff in the hand for the first time. It was that legitimate, I don't understand.
My favourite memory of David Soper's stuff is me, Rich Gray and John Keyes judged the Iron Skull competition, and Matt did all the photos, but we got to hold David Soper's troll, and we're obviously discussing best of show, and that was a really cool experience talking to Rich and John about what was best of show, and it was so clearly David's, because when you hold it, you can't go on the internet, and we've said it time and time again, but you can't go on the internet and say this is better than that, because when you hold Dave's stuff, it's crazy how immaculate it is. It's crazy. And this tank, when you see it, every little millimeter is going to be so perfect, and it makes me a bit sick, to be honest.
Yeah, I want to know the hours. I want to know the painting hours. I hope you cut count.
Look at that hand. Like that.
Who does that?
That hand. It's just immaculate. The painting.
It's all the little warbles
he's
that
very
he then paints
creative
and highlights.
as well, though, isn't he? As well, he's not just technically outrageous.
No.
He's very, very creative.
Hmm.
Yeah, he is.
I,
He's got his own signature palette as well. He's
Absolutely.
just cool.
Yeah.
And this is why he wins. He wins time and time again because he puts the work in, and every bit has care.
That's fucking mental.
It's I don't know. The only thing is, it's like, will the judges like the idea of it, like
Yeah.
the aesthetic? So,
Absolutely, and that's always going to be a factor, isn't it? But also perhaps another reason to admire someone having such a strong sense of style and being like, no, I'm doing this piece because it's important, and this is how I want to present myself and present the piece. Then it's up to the judges. But you get the feeling, I don't want to speak for him, but you get the feeling he'll be very proud of this piece when it's done.
You can see it
This
in
is
the way.
most ambitious.
Yeah, you can see it in the way he writes on his blog. Like, this is a very personal, just for him project.
Yeah, you can tell he's doing it for him.
Yeah,
Right? That's the cool
'cause
thing.
It's the
It's like a
30-year
blog.
continuation of his first Slayer sword. Like, that's the whole Project 30 thing for him, and it's deeply quite personal, I think. I was speaking to him about it the other day, and he says he cannot wait to never have to use microbeads again.
Yeah, I think that's the cool thing, is like this project. He's clearly doing it because he wants to do it for himself, and he's not going like being tactical and going, well, if I pick this model, it's more likely to win. He's like, man, I love this hobby. It's been 30 years. I'll try and recreate that, and he's put everything into it. So again, I'm excited to see this because I'll look at this and it will make me want to level up, because I'll go, bloody hell, every millimeter of that is immaculate. So that's cool, man.
It is. And if you ever get a chance to go on one of his classes, go.
Should we do another picture?
Yes, so next up is...
Now you can stop saying it in the comments, people.
Yeah, we were waiting.
It's almost as if we know who good painters are.
Yeah.
It's not as if we spend a lot of time doing this.
So I think what's exciting about Albert is he didn't live in Europe for a long time, so he didn't have a chance to enter. He's always been an amazing painter, and he's carried on painting, but he's not been anywhere near. And I think I said when he moved to London, I was like, well, Albert's going to get a sword then, just because he physically moved to London one day. I just think this is incredible, this model, mostly because it's super old, and I don't know how he's managed to make it look so good with this little old metal model, right?
For a very long time, this was my favourite miniature ever.
Yeah, really?
In fact, I think this was my first ever entry into a miniatures competition when I would have been 12, something like that. I did a little Night Goblin command squad in purple and yellow robes, and this lad as the sort of main character.
Yeah.
I love his use of old elements of models but the very modern paint style. It's just so good.
Yeah, I mean, this is also Age of Sigmar single.
It's going to be such a hard category.
Yeah. So how cool is it going to be? You know, before thinking about the Slayer sword, how cool is it going to be watching Rich and Albert? Like, who's gonna place higher in single? Like, just that is cool. It's
Cannot wait to see this one.
Yeah.
I'm so excited.
I want to see them next to each other, like the Squig and this. They're both
It's two goblins as well, right?
The best.
And they're both two of the best, right? So, and they both look amazing in real life. So it's just, what can you say? But Albert's also doing 40k single, right?
He is.
We have a picture of that. So yeah, I'm super excited to see this.
He does like a goblin, doesn't he?
He loves orcs and goblins.
I love the old school Space Marine helmet.
It was
he loves it.
It was Albert, wasn't it, who did that sculpt we talked about ages ago? Am I remembering right? Like his first entry was that like scratch built orc.
Yeah.
The youngest Slayer sword ever, isn't it?
Yeah.
No,
Let's go back and check that.
That's
Iago.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Amazing. But what? So all right. So let's do a tiny tangent because we've got time. Because it's kind of something I wanted to ask you about a little bit later anyway. But when it comes to picking models for entries and things like that, why do you think you've got two of the winningest and also, for want of a better word, best painters out there picking tiny miniatures with goblins?
I think honestly it's coincidental if you're just talking about Rich and Albert, because Albert loves goblins and orcs and dwarves. Those are like his things he goes for, right? And then with Warhammer, obviously he likes orcs, and then he likes dwarves when he does non-Warhammer stuff and stuff like that. Yeah. So I think he loves those. But then Rich is just kind of coincidental because he's got all those whips we talked about, and it's just the one he's obviously enjoying the most. But I guess it's nice that in both of these entries are going to have very, very bold colours.
Yeah.
The vibrant greens of Albert's, and then the really
all the colours,
red and blue, of Rich's. So maybe it's just an opportunity to show off. And
that's what I was wondering. Yeah,
that's right.
They cram huge amounts of character into these tiny sculpts with goblins, don't they? And I think if you can, it's a bit like you look at some of the entries that win Lord of the Rings, don't you? And you think, oh, that's cool, and then you realise how small that model is.
Yeah.
So I wonder if there might be an element of that, and I'm not even saying it's a conscious choice, but it's if you were looking for sort of a poster to represent Warhammer, I think orcs and goblins are pretty good for it, right?
Yeah, definitely.
With that, so Rob's just said in the chat, I just wanted to bring this one up. How often are there winners who've not posted anything on their entry? Those dark horses that sweep in and surprise everyone. So we did mention that earlier, that you do get that occasionally, Rob. And of course, the other side of it is we can't talk about them because they're dark horses and we don't know anything about them. But I would love, and I'm not meaning to be disrespectful, but I would love to see that happen.
We just had it at Chicago. Right? We had Gavin.
Yes, you had Gavin at Chicago.
You want to talk about potential dark horses here? I know Johan and Maxine Pinot are potentially coming, and they don't really post a lot.
There we go. Maxine, the last Slayer winner?
2019, yeah.
Yeah, the last sword, the reigning champ, if you will.
Also with technically an orc and goblin.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Cool. Right, have you finished on Albert? Did you want to move on, or was there any more you wanted to talk about with Albert?
It's really good.
Yeah, can't wait to see it.
Right.
So, next up.
Speaking of Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, David.
Dave.
So Dave did manage to get a ticket, which I was excited about because I didn't know this, but he has not, he's not entered Golden Demon before. So I would have been sad for people like him if he didn't get a ticket, but luckily he did. And David's just an absolute force. He's known more for doing his larger scale minis, busts and everything. But when I saw this Lord of the Rings mini, I was like, I love this style on Games Workshop stuff. This is really exciting. Like the light on the cloth is just super cool. I think I had it as a pick of the week sometime. But yeah, this is new blood. So we've had a few people have entered all one swords the last three. They've already had swords. But David's amazing. He's got the potential to win a sword for sure, and he's never entered. So it's going to be fantastic having some new blood in there. Even though he's been petting for a while, he's just not done the demon, and it's going to be great.
Nice, very much so. Yeah, and a great account to follow, actually.
And David, selfishly, I hope he brings his Sigmarine.
Yeah, man.
I don't.
I just want to see it in person.
Yeah, I'm only doing open categories, so you can leave this one at home if you want, mate.
Just bring it to show me. Just to show me it there.
How cool is it going to be seeing pieces like this, though? Right, this is like the whatever you call it, European style, large scale, and it's Warhammer. It's super cool.
Yeah. Well, I think as well that's it, right? Is Lord of the Rings and the open category are the closest things you get to that crossover, right? Between traditional painting, more the subjects, right? Traditional painting subjects, and Golden Demon. So it's always fun to see that sort of slight cultural clash you can get with it. And I think it's a benefit. But oh man, this Stormcast's so good.
Yep.
Yeah, it's not bad, eh?
I mean, we spoke about it quite a lot, didn't we, about 2 episodes ago? But yeah, very, 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 very cool.
So yeah, we're going to see these. So anyone saying it's not going to be strong, well, I think it's going to be pretty good. Should we do another one? We've got quite a few to go through.
So
right, let's go.
Last of the heavy hitters.
Oh, so this would be my other vote for like most influential Golden Demon personality.
He's the most winningest.
He is.
Over 60 demons.
65.
65.
Fucking hell.
I thought this was a perfect sculpt for his style, and I think he's absolutely nailed it. And it was just, I know, it just suits Angelo, right?
It does, right? He makes minis, like his painted stuff always looks like Games Workshop artwork to me. It's got the same vibe. It's always got that vibe. I don't mean necessarily the painting style and the rest of it, but it's always like such a great one to go, what's Warhammer? Oh, okay, here you go. Look at this. This is
I love it. I just think what a force Angelo is, and this mini was just made for him. I remember his Marathi, and that was just a great match for him, and it reminds me of that. And it's nice to see this miniature painted to a high standard, because it was always this is a comp model, right? Although there's been so many of those, and yeah, I think this just really shows what Golden Demon's all about. And I think Angelo wins so much because he's so sharp, and he does all these detailed lines, like freehand lines on the wing membranes, but then his edge highlighting is razor sharp, which I think is what the judges go for. But it's also moody and atmospheric and spot on for the vamps, right?
Absolutely.
So this is going to be great. I hope he goes and brings this.
And this would be Monster, right? I mean, she's mother of monsters, isn't she? So
yeah,
cool.
She's a big one. She's a big one. So yeah, another one. Should we move on to the?
Yeah.
So this is some names perhaps that haven't featured on Matt's spreadsheet of Golden Demon winners.
Yeah, I think you could almost, David Aroba's a tough one because he's not entered before, so he could kind of go in this. He's a new blood.
He got pedigree though, right?
He's a heavy hitter, but it's cool that he's new blood. But Matt and I just had a chat, like just what we've seen about, and there's been tons and tons of stuff, right? So, but we just picked a few that we were like, hey, these guys, it's going to be cool. Maybe they've not won yet, maybe they've not entered ever before, but these are guys to watch out for as well as those previous sword winners, right?
Definitely.
Absolutely. Let's have a look.
So first up is
Will Pants.
Glad to see a finger's made it into one of the slides as well.
Sort your photos out, Will.
Is it even really a miniature without showing your finger in it?
I love Will's bases. He makes such intricate, awesome thematic bases.
He does, because there's loads of cool shit going on behind her on that base, isn't there? That you'll never see. There you go.
Love his whips of his bases. Really educational, right?
That's cool.
Seeing that is one inspiring, but also helps you go, okay, like this is how you can combine the plastic kits with some milliput and the plinth, and that's a lot of work right there in that base. And I think this presentation is what I want to see on Golden Demon. Like this takes things to another level. It's not some crazy base, but the overall presentation is fantastic. So I don't know if he's entered before, but he's definitely not won one, right? So he's someone who's just come up and he's come up loads in the last 3 years. Like the last 3 years where we've had no Golden Demons, he's just got better and better. That NMM on the sword, that face is tiny and it's really, really well painted. Beautiful base. Yeah, Fantastic, right?
And he's blushing.
Finish it, Will.
Right.
Focus on just one.
Yeah. Cool. So he's saying he's not been for sure. So, but yeah, it's cool, right? These people haven't entered, so it's cool. And this is another reason why it's a shame about the whole ticket thing, because you want to see people like this enter for the first time who've got so good in the last 3 years. Because 3 years is actually a long time to progress. It's not about the people who've stored up pieces. It's about people who've got loads better in that time.
Oh,
And
he's
it's
finished
crazy
it today.
stuff.
He's just finished it. So
You've got a few more weeks. Keep working on it.
oh, no,
Sure
back
there's
to
bits
the
work on.
main piece apparently now.
Oh,
This is his side miniature.
side hustle. Big talk. Nice.
Right. Who else we got to watch out for then?
Love this one. So Thibaut is he's known more for his larger scale stuff, and he just won a bronze at the World Model Expo, and I just think he's getting better all the time, and I'm super impressed by his progress. And I think this style on a Games Workshop miniature is super cool to see. The way he's painted the face, like go on Instagram and zoom in, but it's such a really modern and progressive way that, you know, a lot of the people at World Model Expo are doing stuff, and it's really cool to see it on an Eldar mini like this. I just think it's absolutely fantastic. So yeah, I'm excited to see him and David Aroba, actually. That style, I'm excited to see that in Golden Demons, and it's important that we have those different styles, isn't it?
Absolutely. Right, what's that next, Matt?
Hang on, let me just get rid of these spammers.
Oh,
we got
what we got? Was it the porn or the crypto? Oh, it's porno.
Best adult dating site.
So the fourth time.
We're big time now. That's why. Too
Have
big.
you? Speaking of fans, have you boys got a fan going on in the background in your room?
Yeah, do you want it off?
No, it's too late now. Don't worry. I've just been trying to figure out what I can hear. I think.
So
We are boiling in
Mate,
here.
Yeah, I bet you
it's
are.
raw.
Oh, I don't
I'm
care. I was very tempted to cancel, like when I saw the fucking thermometer earlier today. So yeah.
I had a cold shower just before, just so I could sit here.
I was thinking I'm wearing a white shirt.
next
So,
up
should we do another
is
Yes.
Yeah.
Great piece. Saw this yesterday.
Yeah, so I think Sean's from Bristol, right?
Mm-hmm.
Local boy.
Bristol's
For us. I love his work. He's doing a really cool Eldar army at the moment. But also, yeah, I think this must be for competition because it's that sort of level. But he's another guy that, like Will, who you can just go on their Instagram and you can just see their progress, right? And you go back to 19 before the last GD and you can go, last 3 years, wow, they've leveled up. So it's like, I don't know, not being speaking bad towards him, but maybe you go back before when we had the last GD, 18, 19, maybe some of these people weren't up to the standard, but they've grown in that time, and then they're doing amazing miniatures like this, and I just think there's going to be a bunch of people like that.
Absolutely. And a very cool mini. I think,
Such
anyway.
a nice
I love that mini.
it's a really nice take, though, right? Like the sort of the
I think
control
the
on the skin and
NMM, I
stuff.
think, is fab on this.
Mm.
I love NMM that's not super shiny.
Exactly, it's subdued, right? Like the skin as well. It's very, very tasteful, I think.
Cool.
Absolutely. It's a good
I
pick.
think he's also possibly working on this one as well for it.
It's great OSL, isn't it? It's like really nice modern look, great highlights on the marine too. Like, this is cool. Very, very cool. It's exciting, right?
Good work.
It is, absolutely. How many more have we got?
So we have 2 more people.
Lovely. Let's see him.
This really grabbed my attention, I think. So this is Liam. And I think I saw in his caption, he was like, hey, this is going to be for Golden Demon Squad. And I thought, that is a high level for Squad. I think I like the silver chainmail in the middle best. I think that's very well done. But yeah, a unit to this level, that's cool. That's really, really cool. I think this is competitive for maybe single mini, but then as a unit,
well, I don't know for sure, but I'm going to make the assumption that the unit is going to be this lad and his 2 bird dogs.
Yeah, it's got to be more than that. It's got to be a couple Stormsies. I don't know, but we'll see. But I just thought, yeah, that's cool. And he's leveled up tons.
Absolutely,
in
yeah, absolutely.
In the last 3 years,
He's been studying very hard, hasn't he? And you can see it.
Working hard.
And working hard. It's great
so
to see.
Please finish your unit, dude. Let's see it.
So
should we do last one?
Last one.
It's another Liam. And I love this style. I think, we've got a totally different color palette for Be'lakor. It's really original and it's really well balanced. And he just looks evil. It's not like a happy 40k, is it? This is like proper evil. So, and I think we featured Liam before, and he sort of won his first show at another comp. But he's going to be another person, first time Golden Demon, and I think I see a bit of Rich Grey style in there, and I really really like it. Different take. Any thoughts?
Very cool. Love the colour.
It's proper menacing.
Yeah. So there's so many pieces out there that are like this, but you just see these accounts, and I'm blown away often. Like, wow, I've never heard of this person. Look how good they are, and they might have like 1,000 followers on Instagram or whatever. But there's people out there, and I think we'll see them at GD. So hopefully, looking through just a handful of stuff, we can see this is going to be a very, very high level demon, and it's always going to be a shame that not everyone could go, but I think it's still going to be fantastic, and I cannot wait to watch these people battle it out.
Absolutely, and Liam's in the chat, so yeah, lovely to see it. How do they get that sheen in the colour? Well, we're going to have to talk about that on another episode, for sure. So to wrap it up on the Golden Demon section, I just wanted to ask you super quick, and give me like one word answers if you want. What miniature range from fantasy or 40k do you think we're going to see a lot of entries from? And if you say Marines, you've got to be specific.
Heresy, Leviathans.
So I'll put it. I reckon we're going to see a lot from the vampire range, from the whatever they're called, the Soulblight Gravelords. To me, I feel like there are too many phenomenal models in that range that have a lot of character that give you a base to work from. Right, you kind of know what they should look like, right? I think we're going to see quite a lot of that, and I reckon we might see quite a lot of Black Templars. Because I think that was quite a strong release, and that did happen during lockdown, right? Yeah. So those would be my two guesses.
I'm gonna guess that we are gonna see a lot of the new Necromunda stuff in squads.
Ooh. That is rogue. That's really rogue. Necromunda. Never thought of that.
Yeah, man.
I guess we talked about Necromunda Mini tonight. So.
And they, as you say, they go in 40k squad, don't they? Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think it's going to be more AOS heavy? We've shown a lot of AOS stuff tonight.
I think generally the quality of AOS stuff, both as miniatures and paint jobs, is better than 40k at the moment. I think it has been for a couple of years, and I think that's only going to be reflected in a painting competition.
Add it to the spreadsheet, Matt. You've got to correlate AOS for 40k winners.
I can actually do that, to be honest.
Good to see a bit of rat chat. That's good. People thinking we're going to have some ratties. We talked about that last episode. Yes. And thanks very much for the feedback on that last episode. We're going to plan a few more of those types of ones. So yeah, it was good fun. So yeah, Necromunda. Any others you think stand out? Well, because there's going to be some people, right, who the 53 days to go might start a new entry.
I think we'll see. I know it's Andy's favourite category, but I think we'll see a lot of the new Elrond models in the Lord of the Rings category.
I'm doing it, Matt.
Seriously.
I'm back. I'm in Lord of the Rings now.
Incredible models.
I do Lord of the Rings now.
This weekend for Lord of the Rings.
Best category.
Clayton thinks we're going to see 1 billion skinks. That will be very interesting, right? See if we're going to see some takes on Gavin's winner.
My take is very poor. I've painted that model, and it is a very different level.
But cannot wait to see. But I hope, from that chat, you can see that we're very enthused about it. There's a lot of people, and this is very much a snapshot of those to watch out for. But I think the big thing really is to demand and demand, I think is the right word. Expect, demand, whatever you want to say. We need coverage of it. If we can't get there and see it in person, we need Games Workshop to be putting up a ton of fucking photos. I want to see interviews with the painters. I want to see talking about it, hype it up. This game, Golden Demon, should be the high point for an awful lot of hobbyists that are into painting Warhammer, right? So if they're going to do it as this smaller thing this year simply because it's in a smaller venue, that doesn't impact how well you can do your coverage, right? So
they took a load of videos at Adepticon and interviews and stuff, and they just never
we've seen
appeared.
Nothing, right? Yeah. So you've got all these people, you've got an appetite for it, you've got nerds like us recording podcasts about it. I really want to see that from them. Proper coverage and proper celebrations of this stuff that people are just busting their ass to do, using their IP, and creating all these things. So hopefully, hope. That's what we'll see. All 4 of us are going to be there. So if you are there, please do feel free to come up and say hello. It'd be really nice to meet you, and let us know, any tips that you think will be taken out as things. As I said, I will be running a book, so I can take bets when we're there. Right.
I was just going to say, just quickly, like with the whole ticket thing, I know everyone's angry, and there's a lot of good reason to be, but just be nice to each other. And stop messaging me.
Don't take out on the painters. Right, let's close out.
Yeah, Matt doesn't sell the tickets.
as we normally do. So hashtag PaintCultists. You got 12, 13,000 tags on there now. It's mainly on Instagram. It's a ton of different styles, miniatures, everything. Go on there. It's joyous. It's inspirational. It's the best. And all we do is find a couple of them to take a quick look at the end of each show, just because they'll have jumped out to me as I've been looking through them. So, and I can never fucking remember what I've picked and why I picked. Oh, just love everything about this. It feels old-fashioned but new, if that makes sense. And
he's another one who could actually win at the GD, I think, as well.
Yeah, his squads.
He's paying some crazy high-level stuff. More Iron Warriors, actually, but a different take. I think this must be like his army stuff. But then, yeah, he's another one I think that could do it.
Just thoroughly enjoyed this one.
Good account.
Yeah, I've only got a handful this week, I think, because I expected our main conversation to potentially run on a little. And so thanks to the chat for keeping it constructive. And obviously, Iron Warriors are incredible.
Yes, they are. You should do some.
I love the hazards.
Oh, the hazard. So I don't know if we spoke about it last time. There's a little snippet of lore in the new Heresy Traitor Legions book, and it's basically that the Iron Warriors painted their hazard stripes on stuff for lols, because it's like, oh yes brother, won't it be hilarious if we put dangerous on this massive fist that we're about to punch someone in the face with, things like
That's
that.
the reason.
And now I've always avoided putting hazards on them because I felt it was lazy. I didn't like it. Now I'm all over it.
It's canon.
Now I just want to paint the entire model in hazard stripes.
It's probably not even the most.
Law so much.
The chainsaw is probably not even the most dangerous part.
This is it. It's just so good. Just have it on his knuckles.
The knee pad's dangerous.
Probably my favourite part of the entire Heresy release so far is that little nugget of lore there. Right, what's that next? This account,
Burner Boy,
really, really cool. This, I think, on the whole, the kill teams have been superb releases.
Fuck yes.
So characterful. It's a fun game too, but so characterful. And when we're talking about characterful models, we talked about greenskins earlier. The orc kit is just brilliant. I've painted a few of them, and it's so much fun. I could see someone painting one of the kill teams and taking out 40k squad.
Oh hell yeah! Hell yeah!
And I think the orcs are a very strong contender for that, because you can simply show off so much across them. And you have a nice variety of silhouettes and mass and all the rest of it. But I really enjoyed this account. I saw this tag on there, and then I went sort of lurking. And yeah.
Don't they have a load of those fancy elves? I do. What are they called?
Lumineth?
Yeah. Doesn't this account do loads of Lumineth?
Not high elves. Yeah, absolutely. So it's well worth a look. Excuse me, as they all are. But yeah, right on my side. And he was playing around with different skin tones on the orcs, which I think is always cool as well. So let's go check it out. Next up, I think it's two more. Am I right? This I am in love with. It's a skateboard wheel.
Oh yeah,
That's
It was to do, I think it was like a little competition or a little like bit of fun between friends to take like a random object, turn it into a robot, and have some fun. And it's just brilliant. And I would never ever have seen this if it wasn't for the hashtag.
What great photography as well.
Exactly as well, right? How to present it, it's just brilliant.
I thought it was a
Take
render.
note for MPO.
That's so fucking cool.
The eyes are awesome. I think they're eyes, right?
It's just great.
Lenses?
Just great. I really want to do this for a mate of mine or something like this. He's well into his robots. So I think, sign something random. Didn't you do something a while ago, Rich?
Rich does that every week.
I do,
you did something with a robot, didn't you?
I made
a can
like
with some
a robot walker from the top of a hairspray bottle.
That was it, yeah.
That was badass.
Nice.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah. Two more, I think.
Yep.
This is nice. So this is just nice because obviously I've got Lord of the Rings on the brain. But I really enjoyed reading the person's description of why they did this. So basically they got into the hobby with Lord of the Rings, really wanted to do a cool diorama with them, did a shit paint job because they were young and inexperienced and thingy, and they come back into the hobby, or they got better, and they're like, it's been nagging at the back of their mind, I really wanted to do that cool Lord of the Rings thing. So they've sat down and forced themselves to do it, and basically gone, oh, actually these miniatures are a little ropey because a lot of them are 20 years old or whatever, so just picked the two that they really love, they've made a little scene for it, and they can tick it off now. And that resonates a lot with me at the minute, the sort of hobby. So yeah, big fan. I think they said they did tried to do something with Gollum and a waterfall and stuck on the back of this, but it was shit, so they just snapped it off and painted the front. So good on them. Sometimes know when to cut your losses too, right? Because that could derail a project. And they're like, nah, do you know what? Ping it off, finish the best bit.
Nice.
So yeah,
I should learn about that.
Really liked that that little sort of description that they gave about why they
were really nice to see some of the guys that we just featured in the chat as well, which is cool.
That is cool. They all are they giving it a bit of the whole faux modesty, or are they chatting shit to each other? What's going on?
No, they just seem pretty hyped that they're the future. It's cool.
Good. They are the future. It's going to be amazing. So one more, I think, Matt.
One more.
Yeah. So this again, just quite a random selection this week. So this is someone bought. It's like one of them Tetley teabag type things. Just a shitty die cast thing, and they repainted it.
The face repaint's unreal. Right? The mouth, the mouth, just
cool, right?
I love Tintin. It was great.
I often
it was cool.
You see things like these die cast miniatures, don't you? Either in like them shops that sell bongs, you'll have loads of fucking dragons and shit in, won't you, and fairies, or like down them shops. A lot of time in my youth. And then the pet shops where you'll see like things for fish tanks and lizard tanks and stuff, don't you? And sometimes I'll look at them and be like, do you know what? Could you just paint that up? Like it costs £2. Could I paint that up and make it look as good as a £50, £60 kit and stuff? Yeah, I don't know.
Seen it done.
None of the answer, but here's certainly a very good version of that. a little repaint. Thought it could be a fun challenge as well. So yeah, that I think is all the picks.
That's it.
Right, lovely. We got to the end and on time. So if you do want to get in touch with us at all, we're on all the usual social medias. We're going to add Discord to that as well. That's up and running. Big thanks to Todd, runs our Discord. I'll put the link down in the description. That's going great guns, and it's very much up to you guys what you want to do with it. If you are watching this back on YouTube, fantastic. You know the drill. Thumbs up, subscribe, all the rest of it. The support you guys give us there, and particularly on Patreon's letting us do more and more of this stuff. And we're with no intention of stopping, particularly with coverage of events. That's something we want to bring in. Me and Matt are also going to get on sorting the show out to be released as a podcast. Something we've resisted for ages because we felt it was very you needed to see what we were talking about. But actually, I think quite a few of the episodes probably listen well. Anyway, so we're going to have a look through and see what we can do with that as well. But to those of you watching live and in the chat, thank you ever so much. It's been up and down, but I think we're ending excited, right?
Definitely.
It's going to be okay, people. Let's see. But always remember, there's going to be another Golden Demon, and you got long. I'm thinking I've got longer to make my entries better.
Nice one. Ian's just saying the Discord link's invalid. Yeah, we have to keep refreshing the Discord links. It goes like out of date after a week or something. So we'll get in the habit of banging the new Discord link on each one when we do it. We are learning with that one, but we will get there because you guys wanted it. But yeah, the chat, you guys make the show. So thanks ever so much for doing it. And lastly, thanks to you three. Nice to have the full team back.
Good to be back.
We got through it. Nothing too
Quite like
controversial.
having it here.
Yeah, it's quite good.
Do you like him in your ear now, do you? Just whispering.
So it's a bit weird because I've got like you here, and then him, and then when he talks, I'm used to it coming in my headphones. But we can't wait to do the in-person one, which we will do one day,
At
right?
some point.
Four of us
Very
together.
soon. Oh, and here's big thanks to our adult dating site bot. So
they're
go
back
and
again.
check them out. Don't check them out. Don't click on it, for God's sake.
Do
Don't
not click on it.
But this is it. Let's all go to Salute instead. Let's all go to Salute as well, Ross. We're certainly planning to be at every painting show we can get to over the
We go
next
to
year.
every single one.
Yeah, man.
So thanks for joining us, guys. Thanks for joining us, chat. Take care. We'll see you soon.
Ciao, Belle.